Jorge, joined here by Jacob Van Lunen, and we're bringing you round 6 of the
Standard Open
Standard Open, and it's on your screen right now is Harrison Greenburg. Harrison Greenburg is running the Lewis Laskin green-white deck. It's got Birds of Paradise, Lotus Cobras, Overwhelming Stampedes, Lead the Stampedes, Vengevine, Squadron Hawks.
So combined right now, the deck is 19-5.
That is a pretty good record.
So
and
it's pretty impressive.
That is certainly impressive, especially for a deck. They said their best matchup was Cobblade, but Harrison's not getting it here. He's got to face Matt Ferrando, who we don't have his deck list in front of us yet. It's coming to us soon, but he's playing allegedly some mid-range deck, is what we were told.
Yeah.
So
Matt Ferrando is known for playing original decks in almost all formats. He's a pretty good player. He's qualified for the Pro Tour. You know, he had a really impressive day one in San Juan. He started out at 7-0, which is, you know,
decent. I've heard.
Not too shabby. And I think the wheels fell off, but
he still made top 50, right?
He did.
Yes.
So
I remember hearing the shout of Ferrando across the room. I was relaxing to hear something that was not Puerto Rico across the room. So it looks like the players are taking their hands here. And thinking about what's going on, so...
Ferrando makes a wise mulligan decision. That's a deck that, I mean, that's a hand that a lot of people might have kept. He had 3 lands, and he had a bunch of 2-drops, and I believe, like, I'm not sure what the last card was, but he had a triple Squadron Hawk hand, which is generally pretty bad because it's basically a 5-card hand. You know?
I mean, more or less, yeah. It's the worst is when you like keep your 1 Hawk hand and like you're on the draw and you like just draw Hawk.
Oh yeah, it's
just
terrible.
Gross. But yeah, like you know, extra hands with Hawks. These decks mulligan really well. So
it's true.
Did we catch what else was in the hand? So we can get a glimmer of what this deck is doing.
I think he's like a Burrows deck that's like a lot more mid-rangey.
Okay, here we go. We have the deck list in front of us.
I think he probably has Inferno Titans. He likes Inferno Titans.
Okay, so yeah, we have Cunning Spark Mage, Stoneforged Mystic, Squadron Hawk, Inferno Titan, Spike Shot Elder, Gideon Jura, Cough of the Hammer, Arc Trail, Burst Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Bone Horde, Sword of Feast and Famine, and Basilisk Collar. So it's kind of like a big red deck almost in a sense. You have these Inferno Titans, some Planeswalkers. Cough into Inferno Titan seems like a pretty sweet play.
Yeah, I mean, Matt can build a deck, so
yeah,
I'm confident this deck is
so I'm excited to see what's going on. And on the flip side, of course, we have the green-white deck.
We expect a collar. Ooh.
All right.
Goes with the sword.
So Matt lays a turn 2 Stoneforged Mystic to find Sword of Feast and Famine versus Harrison Greenburg's first turn Birds of Paradise. A pretty strong play.
This is all right. I'll play green creatures. Here's a sword. Now, Harrison's deck is built to destroy the Clawblade decks, but it's going to be interesting because I'm not really sure how it's going to handle this like white-red mid-range type deck.
Right. I mean, he said that
the Inferno Titans are just really good here. Yeah,
I think when we were talking to Laskin earlier, he said that his Boros matchup was okay. Coldotha already said it was not good, but Boros was kind of okay. But those Inferno Titans might really gum up the works, because especially, you know, if you drop one off early with Cough of the Hammer. So in the meantime, we have Fauna Shaman, Ada Burst Lightning. And Harrison's considering his next avenue of play. Cracks Misty Rainforest. The interesting thing about Matt's deck is your opponents are just always going to assume that it's Boros and play around all the typical Boros cards until suddenly Inferno Titan comes down.
Yeah, Inferno Titan comes to the party.
And it's not quite the story you're used to.
Matt's playing 26 lands in this Boros deck. And that's actually not too uncommon because people usually have 26 lands to help activate their step lengths and things, but he's playing 26 lands so he can play things like Inferno Titan. And Inferno Titan does pretty good with equipment.
Or Basilisk Collar, sweet one.
Not too shabby.
With that, and without the need for like white on turn 1, you can play 4 Tectonic Edges, which is a nice little addition. So he leads the Stampede. I found a Phyrexian Revoker. Matt is trying to take the edge here. Slams out the Spike Shot Elder. And earlier, Patrick Sullivan was talking about how good Spike Shot Elder was. Just has another 1-drop here, and in this deck it's even better because it wants to play a later game. And the Elder's kind of going to wreak havoc on Greenburg's 0/1 creatures. lays a fetch line. And Greenburg's trying to figure out what his line of play is. I'm looking over his hand. I think I see a Squadron Hawk, but I'm not sure on the rest of it.
I mean, Greenburg's definitely got a ton of plays. I can't really see his hand, but...
Overwhelming Stampede.
Ooh, there's a Rhino.
Alright, so he decides to crack the Marsh Flats.
Grab one of 2 planes. I heard him in between rounds somewhat upset that he was playing a second planes. Ooh. Like acidic slime.
That's
pretty strong.
So the 1X slime, I mean, so this green-white deck has a ton of 1-ofs. It's got Slime, Baneslayer, Molten Tail Manticore, Phyrexian Revoker, Linvala, and Soul's Attendant all in the main deck. So there's a ton of different things that you can just draw. I mean, with 6 1-ofs, you're more likely to draw that than any of your 4-ofs. You know, some combination of those.
Yep.
So you can just draw them, and they're decent naturally. So that sword comes down, goes on the Elder. Oh, and Ferrando starts hawking. And that
yeah,
sword plus Elder's going to be huge.
And even the swords and the hawks, like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. And now
Harrison really needs to put together one of these, like, Vengevine monopolies.
Certainly. He definitely needs to get some engines rolling. That Burst Lightning from Ferrando on a Greenburg really set Harrison back. And the lead of the Stampede was also not nearly as good as he wanted it to be. There's a Greenburg for you looking over his options.
He gets him for 2.
Alright, so it looks like I see at least here comes Squadron Hawk, I think. And there's a Birds of Paradise. Or is that Stoneforge Mystic? Yeah.
Harrison's gonna grab his own army of hawks. This will create a bunch of speed bumps for that sword.
Yeah, although with Spike Shot Elder, it's a little more tricky because you can start pinging him off if he ever gets a second red source. He doesn't even have a red source right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have a red source right now because of the slime, so it's kind of a far way off that one. But
yeah, that is certainly true. Yeah, and those green creatures certainly couldn't block before, but now that the Hawks are around, and that Revoker turns off the sword, meaning that if he can just deal with that Elder somehow, the sword is not going to do a lot, at least until Matt Ferrando points another Burst Lightning at the Revoker. Alright. So Ferrando considering his options. Also means he can't re-equip the sword to the Hawk, which is huge. What do we have in Ferrando's hand? Obviously we have a set of Squadron Hawks, and I think I saw a Lightning Bolt and a Burst Lightning. Offers up some of his creatures, and Harrison's like, okay, I'll just hold on to this Phyrexian Revoker. No, thank you. And maybe Greenburg is starting to stabilize.
Yeah, ooh, that's a very good one.
Is that a Stoneforge Mystic?
That's a Molten Tail Manticore.
That's a Molten Tail Manticore. That's... You were talking earlier about how you thought they should have a second Molten Tail Manticore in their deck, and this might be the reason why.
Yeah, I mean...
Like...
That card's awful good.
I mean, it can block the sorted guys. It's going to deal with some of the flyers. What did Greenburg just cast? Can't see it. It's off screen. He cast
just some extra Squadron Hawks.
Some Squadron Hawks for protection. And Ferrando's looking over his options. Discards a Hawk to a Manticore. Seems like a good call.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too shabby. And our Overwhelming Stampede should end this game right now.
And there we go. Like, Matt seemed like he was in an okay position. And Overwhelming Stampede. You got Rhino, buddy. Jumanji.
At that point, the game was, like, I think far out of his hands. The Masticore was just going to completely dominate the board.
It's true, but it's way sweeter if you got Overwhelming Stampede.
Yeah, it is way
Because,
sweeter.
otherwise you'll be sitting here for, 10 turns. You'd be, discarding cards and, killing things with the Masticore.
Oh, yeah, he would just shoot stuff with Masticore. It would be done.
But,
he just shoots the guy with the sword with Masticore, and then he can't re-equip the sword.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he did a Burst Lightning Bolt, so if he just draws them out, and you could just bolt the Revoker.
That's true. But I mean, then whatever you put the sword on just gets killed by the Masticore immediately.
Sure. Assuredly. I mean, the Masticore is going to take over the game. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
But getting Overwhelming Stampede in Standard is pretty awesome. I think Conley Woods would approve of this innovation.
I'm definitely a fan of the Overwhelming Stampede.
I think every time you have to cast it, you just have to be like Jumanji,
Safari Zone. Welcome to Safari Zone.
welcome to the Safari Zone. So. Harrison doing a little ditty there, looking happy about that term events.
Shoving up for game 2. Now, Matt's a good player, and Matt knows how to, take his wins with his losses. He understands that, he didn't draw very well that game. Post board, he has a lot of action against this deck. I'm sure he feels pretty good about his chances here. Still sitting at this is round 5 here. Shouldn't be round 6.
All right, players are shuffling up. So, looking over their sideboards, what do you think that they're going to be bringing in here?
Let's take a look at this. Now, I mean, Harrison's almost certainly going to bring in the extra Linvala. I wouldn't be surprised if we brought in the Hookmaster Glimmer Point Stag combination. And, I think that's about it. He might also bring in his one Gideon. As far as Matt's deck, Matt gets to bring in the extra... I saw some Arc Trails when he was sideboarding, and those have got to be insane here. I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted a... that's interesting.
Let's see. So, I mean, so in Greenburg's deck, he's probably going to bring that Viridian Corruptor, right? And probably the Journey to Nowheres, which are going to be great if he ever has to fate down an Inferno Titan.
I don't know if he brings in the... he's probably bringing in the Journeys, but I don't know if he brings in the Corruptor here. And really? The Corruptor might be more of a card for... the blue decks that are more heavily relying on the artifacts.
Yeah, it just seems like the swords...
He already has the slime and the...
That's true. Or maybe you sub out the slime for the Corruptor, although killing Journey to Nowhere could be huge with the slime, so maybe you don't. Leatherback Bale seems like a great card to come up the ground. Obstinate Bailoff, sure.
The Hookmaster is probably coming in.
Hookmaster, Linvala, maybe. Core Skyfisher, maybe.
Linvala, definitely, right? Burrows, because you're expecting, Spark Mage, you've seen Stoneforge Mystic.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. You're definitely bringing in that Linvala, second Linvala. Getting Glimmer Point Stag. It's interesting he doesn't have the Colony Hydra we saw earlier. He opted for 2 Leatherback Bailoffs over that Colony Hydra.
I think that's better. But, it's better than that. More Molten Tail Masticores. That card is very good in this deck.
Last game it certainly seemed great. That's all it took was that Masticore. Yeah, I mean, the Stampede is what did it in, but that Masticore would have just wrenched the game out of Ferrando's hands. Although, granted, Ferrando did not have the best draw, and getting his Mountain Acidic Slime was pretty awful for him there.
It's true.
Ferrando looking at his sideboard one last time before he shoves it away, and yep, his deck is set. Harrison should be presenting soon, and we bring you game 2. This green-white deck is so exciting.
It's pretty interesting. Matt's deck also looks really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing I love about it is how it just looks like Boros on the surface, and everyone's going to play against it as though it's Boros. But if they just play the 1-for-1, play the long game, he has ways to just go over the top.
Yeah, he can punish people in the late game. His late game drops are just as powerful as other people. So other people just think they have to decide on an abundance of early game stuff, and then he starts destroying them with Sun Titans and Inferno Titans, and you know, he just the bone horde Gideon. He's Koth.
Absolutely. I think Matt opened on a hand with either 0 or 1 lands. It was so bad he put it back on top of his deck and quickly began to shuffle. So he's not keeping that one. Harrison's considering his hand. And it looks like Harrison is keeping. So he's
2 mulligans in a row for Matt.
Yeah, that's rough.
The last game that mulligan really hurt him. Getting that 1 red source acidic slime just like put him out of the game. And if it weren't for that, I mean, he would have just handily destroyed Harrison that game, I'm fairly certain.
I mean, yeah, when you look at Ferrando's mana base, I mean, yeah, he does have the 4 tectonic edges, but like he should have found another red, like, you know, just theoretically speaking, because he has 10 mountains and only 5 plains with 4 arid mesas and 3 terramorphic expanses.
Yeah.
So I mean
it's 17 sources is usually enough.
Right. I mean, especially the fact that he had 2 plains and 0 mountains. But he did draw a tectonic edge, which I guess if it was a basic land. Anyway, so the players keep, and Ferrando opens on a Terramorphic Expanse, willing to take the hit in tempo to switch up his mana. Little War Elf from Greenburg.
Accidentally gets a mountain. Says, whoa. I already have some of those in my hand. I have none of these, and I want to cast the Gideon.
So he does not want to misclick in real life. That is his goal. So let's see, he's got Gideon and Lightning Bolt. So think that elf gets bolted this turn? Or do you think he's going to save it to hit something else?
I think the elf's getting bolted.
I think it's debatable whether or not it's correct to bolt an elf in a lot of games, but in this game in particular, he has to take the tempo because his game
he
plan
drew another
right
bolt too, so I mean, he's going to be able to bolt the 2-drop also.
The game plan is just he's got to get up to 5 to hit Gideon. He has nothing else going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks aren't really as good as they could be here, so Ferrando's not going to waste a bolt on that.
Yeah. I mean, unless, of course, it starts picking up some equipment, in which case he may have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no equipment in Harrison's deck.
That's true. I'm just so used to every match.
Yeah, you're so used to, it's a Hawk, that's what it does.
Yeah,
it's got a sword hanging in its mouth,
they play,
you know,
the Stoneforge Mystic, and it's so relieving to not see not see Stoneforge Mystic on one side of the table. Of course, Ferrando's deck is still full of equipment, so we may still see some mysticking happening in this game. There's a Journey to Nowhere, but still not the greatest response to a Squadron Hawk. And Hawk nudges in for 1.
Some Squadron Hawks can do some damage.
Oh, certainly. Yep, and here comes Hawk number 2.
These unassuming little guys, and then
Matt's still finding nothing but lands waiting for him.
I mean, it's fine. And Matt really has like a trump here. He's got the what is it? The Gideon.
Lavala.
And I mean, here he might just want to journey that Linvala on his turn.
I
or
think,
you know, he like maybe it's worth it just to have the active Gideon in play to just go like double bolt that Linvala in your end step. Although I don't think it's necessarily. So here he's probably going to journey the Linvala, I think.
Do you think he just plays Gideon? Or do you?
It's tough because then your Gideon goes down to 3.
Yep, no, he just journeys that Linvala.
Yeah. And like your Gideon has a lot of value. It's not really worth it to.
Right. And I mean, I think one of Matt's big outs this game is if Harrison doesn't have any more action to back the game up. Plus, Harrison has that String Wildwood he's sitting on. So yeah, now he can tech edge the Wildwood and cast Gideon safely next turn without being worried about being attacked. And there's another Hawk he brings into the fray. So now I think he just has to go for Gideon, right?
Oh yeah, he's just got to slam it.
Yep, and here comes Gideon. And +2, and Harrison untaps just immediately. Alright, so the full squadron flock is out now, all 4 of them.
The whole squadron.
And there's Baneslayer Angel, who's going to do quite a bit of damage. And that Gideon is not going to survive a hit to take down that Baneslayer. says everyone attacks Gideon. And Ferrando looked pretty dejected there. He has flooded out pretty poorly this game. Gideon goes down.
Harrison pops up to 25.
Passes back, cracks that expanse. Just desperately trying to thin his deck. I think his out here is probably Inferno Titan.
Inferno Titan into like Stoneforge Mystic would probably...
For Basilisk Collar?
Yeah, would probably seal it up.
Sure.
That's a series of draws that would be pretty good for him.
Gotta find...
what is it?
Oh, it's Squadron Hawk, I think.
Oh,
So that'll buy him some time. I mean, when you have an end game like Inferno Titan, the life gain from the Main Slayer Angel isn't as crushing as it would be against, normal Boros, which is a nice little addition that Matt's tweak lets him take. But I mean, even if he's just chumping that Bane Slayer Angel every turn, those Hawks are going to deal some serious damage. And he cracks fetch land to go find the second planes he needs to bring 2 more of those Hawks into the fray. Did he not find the third Hawk? Or the fourth Hawk?
Huh, maybe he sided out a Hawk?
Interesting. Alright, so Greenburg considering his options, and his best option, just serve with everybody. He's just trades with 3 Hawks, takes 6.
I mean, that seems like it might be a better play. Because then now he,
so that String Wildwood messes up his math. He does have the tech edge, I guess. There's Inferno Titan.
Inferno Titan.
That's just what he was looking for. Too bad. I feel like if you're playing to Inferno Titan, you want to Inferno Titan away all the Squadron Hawks. So,
yeah.
I mean,
whoa!
Oh, except you have the bolt.
Yeah, he has the bolt, so...
Wow.
Well, doesn't he kill the Squadron Hawk, too?
Well, he could have killed the Squadron Hawk. And I guess he did.
He did. Yeah, because I saw him point at both.
Okay.
I was confused.
And, wow. That was a pretty sweet Inferno Titan.
Yeah.
Alright, there's Linvala, which I guess shuts off Inferno Titan's pump ability. But... wow. That Inferno Titan is still threatening. I didn't quite catch it. I didn't realize Matt still had a bolt in his hand. I thought he used that up at some other point in the game.
Oh, no. He's been slow rolling it. And see, Matt has the patience to do that.
Alright. So Matt attacks with Inferno Titan, and did he say he pointed to the Linvala, did he deal damage to it?
He may have dealt 1 damage.
Arc Trail. Kapow. And like all that Life Bane Slayer Angel gained, Harrison Greenburg is just slowly losing traction.
I'm surprised Matt didn't choose to pump that Inferno Titan even a little bit there.
With Linvala, he could not.
Oh, you're right.
And Matt still has that Tectonic Edge for String Wildwood. They're certainly showing their worth right now. I'm looking over Harrison's deck list, and it's going to be hard-pressed. Molten Tail Masticore, maybe, would be pretty strong here.
Even that, like, you're in a pretty rough spot here.
Core Hook Master.
That would be so sick.
I mean, so if you have Masticore, yeah, I guess it puts you in Masticore log. You have to discard a card every turn. But you can at least block and regenerate.
You can block and regenerate, and then you can just actually shoot Matt for 4 over 2 turns.
Yeah.
So it actually kills him, right?
You're right. Yeah, Masticore would be great here. Other than that, he's looking pretty thin on answers. Leading Stampede to a bunch of gas. Could be good. Oh, Matt found something else. Spike Shot Elder. It's a good one. And Harrison slow rolls his draw, thinking about what he wants. Oh, he gets Tech Edge on String Wildwood. Lenore Elf. Oh, Harrison packs him into what looked like an awful situation for Matt. There came that Inferno Titan, and that was that.
Yeah. I mean, Inferno Titan does work, man.
Wow, what a card.
I played Inferno Titan in Extended at the Grand Prix in Atlanta.
Yeah, you're playing Valakut, right? And you had Inferno Titan.
My one friend, top 16 the Grand Prix, playing the list with no buys. I mean, I just think that card is so absurd.
Oh, man. Inferno Titan indeed takes down Bane Slayer Angel, takes down Squadron Hawks. Matt found what he needed to win. And played to his outs.
Yeah. It looked really bad for him. He had no cards left in hand. His opponent had a Baneslayer and 4 Hawks in play. And
found his way out of it.
I
mean, and yeah,
played the game to a T. Literally, if he did anything differently, he would have been out there.
Yeah, if he spends that bolt at all sooner, like, he's done for.
And a lot of people might have been tempted to use that bolt.
Yeah.
When you're that far behind on the board, it's very easy to think, well, oh, I just need to kill this guy, you know?
I mean, I think you have to save the bolt just so you can double kill that Baneslayer Angel if you draw another piece. But it's definitely...
he didn't know his opponent was going to play a Baneslayer even though. He had no idea that card was even in the deck. So.
Yeah, the one Baneslayer Angel. How fortunate.
What a game.
Yeah, indeed. Haymakers indeed.
Some opening hands here. Ooh, this is an interesting turn of events. The tables have turned, and now Harrison is mulliganing, and Matt's keeping his opening.
On the play, what does Matt have there? I see an Inferno Titan.
I see an Inferno Titan. That's
it looks like Tectonic Edge.
I think his Stoneforge Mystic. He has double Tech Edge, I believe, and just an Arid Mesa. So he's going to need to decide whether or not he wants the white or red mana. But he's probably going to have at least one draw step to decide that. So on turn 1, I wouldn't be surprised to see him play Tech Edge and see whether or not he draws a red source or a white source. That way he knows what he needs to get with the Arid Mesa. Nicely done by Matt. Matt does exactly what I said. He decides to not pop the Arid Mesa to burst the Fauna Shaman on his opponent's end step. Instead, he decides to just go ahead and wait to see what he draws on his turn, and draws a mountain. That way he knows he can use the Arid Mesa he has for red mana, or for white mana rather.
Nice careful play by Ferrando there.
Really maximizing the value of that fetch land there.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like a lot of people will just instinctively crack that fetch land there, you know? And Ferrando played very carefully. And Cunning Spark Mage, that's a great card for Ferrando right here.
Yeah, Ferrando looks like he's in solid control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like what Ferrando's got pretty poor draws the last 2 games. And
yeah, this is like what the deck's supposed to do.
Yeah, not just turn 5 Gideon Jura control, but actually some early game and some late game. There's Spark Mage Collar, which is pretty rough times for Mr.
Well,
Greenburg.
the Spark Mage has been journeyed.
Oh,
yeah.
Just not a kind of a strange positioning. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Still, that collar's going to do some work. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. The ears were burning.
All right, and the collar comes down. Hawk sends him. And there's a Fauna Shaman.
That's going to be a juicy Arc Trail on Matt's turn.
Another Inferno Titan. Wow, those Titans are going to do some serious damage.
Oof.
Those are both of his Titans, right? He only has 2? Yeah, he only has 2.
Yeah.
Man, this sideboard, we didn't even talk about Matt's sideboard. It's so sweet. He's got Pilgrim's Eye, Sun Titan, and Crush. Those are some pretty awesome cards.
Yeah.
Crush in particular is a really nice little
Seems
piece.
pretty sick.
Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic up equipment. Yeah,
dude,
please do.
Matt's good.
Yeah, this is a sweet little deck. Oh, another Arc Trail sitting in his hand. Wow, yeah, Matt looks to be in a pretty good slot this game. If he just plays another land and plays that Inferno Titan, he's in such good shape. And Harrison shuffling his cards quickly, trying to figure out what his outs are. He's sitting on, looks like a Birds of Paradise. Not much else. And Matt drew the land, so here comes Inferno Titan.
Inferno Titan, pretty good with Basilisk Collar.
And we should say Inferno Titan number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, this is This is looking pretty bad for Harrison. All right, Vengevine, sure. Please do.
Yeah, on Matt's turn, he can simply equip the collar onto the Inferno Titan, deal 1 damage to the Vengevine and 2 to his opponent's face.
I don't even know if... Yeah. I guess you want to play around Day of Judgment, right? You don't want to get...
Yeah, there's no reason to play into it. Your opponent has a full grip, so...
Yeah.
You know, he has... Harrison goes to 12, then... What is it? Takes an additional 9, I believe.
6.
What's the number?
7. He only tapped 1 mountain?
Yeah, so...
Only 7?
Well, 9.
Oh, 9 total.
2,
Yeah, I was like a total of 9.
So Harrison's going to drop 5 right here. And Matt's going to go up to 31 here.
And
show his opponent burn spells.
Wow. Matt quickly went from what looked to be losing the match to winning in a pretty quick fashion.
Yeah. I mean, Matt's deck looks tight.
Yeah, that deck looks excellent. I'd love to see if we can get to talk to him about it.
That'd be great.